What is up, Watch fam? Happy Friday and welcome to Liquor Run. I am Christian from Theo and Harris, and you are
Rolly
from Theo and Harris. Today in the watch world, we're going to be talking about Seiko and about how how I feel there is a problem that presents itself in that $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 range, and how the name Seiko may hold consumers back. Right? I think that's an interesting topic. What are we going to be drinking while we talk about watches?
a California Chardonnay from Annabelle.
Very cool. All right, let's get into it. All right, before we do a quick wristwatch check, what are you wearing, Pops?
I'm staying with the old lady.
Love it.
She's been terrific to me.
Love it.
She's staying on the wrist.
The bezel fading just couldn't be better.
It keeps fading year after year.
Yeah, and you've never polished it either.
I don't polish it.
Yeah, no, it's great. We know people that, I know so many people that polish watches every year. It's crazy. Not only does it cost money, but the residual value of the watch just plummets. So I am wearing a sports watch, actually, away from my typical fare. I'm wearing a Hamilton Super Compressor. 2 crowns. What was so cool about this watch is the technology made it so the case actually tightens the deeper the watch goes in water.
Interesting.
That's the technology.
Oh.
It's pretty freaking cool, actually.
I like that.
A little less efficient than other simpler methods, but nonetheless made for a great piece of history. This watch is actually for sale in the watch shop at theoandharris.com. So if you want to see some more photos of it or hear some details, go over there now. Okay, so let's crack open the bottle of wine.
Let's talk a little bit about this wine.
Let's do it.
Who bought this wine for this episode?
So I went to the liquor store. Well, this episode was a last minute kind of thing. We didn't know what we were doing. We didn't know it was going to be today. So we threw it together at the end. So my dad says, go to a liquor store. So I just pulled over at like a standard, they happen to sell liquor at the lottery ticket shop and the tobacco shop.
So you bought 2 Powerball tickets.
So I bought 2 Powerball tickets.
This could very well be the last liquor run ever.
Because if we win, we like watches and we like wine, but we also love the coast of France. That would be, what is it, $680 million, something like that? Yeah. Geez. Anyway, enough daydreaming. So that's it. Wow. So I bought this basically at a gas station, and that's it. So
the gas station.
So let's see how it is.
Well, all BS aside. Annabella, is actually a reputable winery in California, Napa Valley.
Cool.
So we've had some of their red wines for the holidays, believe it or not. I've snuck in some American wines in between the Ruffinos, and everyone liked it.
Cool. All right.
Actually, they didn't notice.
They just kept drinking. Cool.
But all kidding aside,
so what kind of wine is this?
This is a Chardonnay.
Okay.
American Chardonnay.
And what should we be expecting?
We should always be expecting riper fruit.
Okay.
A little bit more like vanilla, maybe even like a little oily, as they say in the wine geek terms.
Okay.
But it's a much fuller mouthfeel. So
cool. All right. Let's sniff and
let's
cheers.
Cheers. Salud.
And okay, so now I'm gonna go a little bit into a conundrum that I faced this week. Okay. On Monday we published a video. It was the best everyday watch under $5,000, right? And I talked about the Rolex Datejust, which I viewed as the ultimate winner. Talked about Nomos, and I talked about a Seiko. Right, there's a Seiko that I really viewed as a real competitor. Right, as many Seikos do compete in the real quality $4,000 price range. And this model was the SBGH001, if that means anything to you. Bottom line is, in layman's terms, this watch, I think, which you can get for like $4,000 flat, right? Technically is better not only in design but in mechanism than so many watches at $6,000 or $7,000, right? So objectively, it represents a ton of value. Okay, which is why I chose it for the best everyday watch, right? Just so much value, dollar for dollar. But the problem that I viewed was the name Seiko, right, does carry with it this baggage that a lot of people aren't going to want to drop $4,000 on. No matter how good the watch is, I can reasonably see how many consumers, many of the viewers in the Theo and Harris channel are going to say, okay, thanks for teaching me something, Christian, but I still wasn't really looking for a Seiko. And I don't think that those people are shallow. I don't think that they're stupid. I don't think that they've made the wrong choice. I think that they hold brands, in high regard.
Yes.
Do you have a problem with that? I mean, do you think that I'm an idiot? Do you think that these people are stupid for not wanting a Seiko over a Rolex? Even if it is just as good, if not better?
So I'm listening to this conundrum of yours, And the one example that comes to mind
Yep.
is Hyundai.
Okay.
Hyundai, the Korean car company, sells a ton of cars in America. They decided they want to go into the luxury market,
Right.
and they sell a brand now called Genesis. So they kind of distance themselves from Hyundai, but we all know that Genesis is.
They even stamp it Genesis, don't they?
They do. They even create a different website, but it's Hyundai.
It's a Hyundai.
So
that
so
creates
now
an issue for a lot of consumers.
$65,000.
Do they go up that high?
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
Am I going to buy a Hyundai with every bell and whistle available?
It's just as good as an S-Class.
Or am I going to buy that S-Class or the
an
Audi
E-Class, or A4 for that matter?
A4, A6,
Right.
whatever competes in that. It's psychological.
Yep.
Technically speaking, the Genesis / Hyundai
Maybe a better car.
has a better a better warranty.
Okay.
10 years, 100,000 miles.
Right.
But do you want to be seen driving
After all that money.
After all that money? I just dropped 70,000. I'm driving a Hyundai.
Yeah. I mean,
That's the conundrum.
it's a study on consumers. I mean, it's tough, and for
perception.
and it's all perception. And for a marketer, I mean, this represents a big problem, but also a huge opportunity, obviously, right? Because you can own that underdog brand, and you can be brought on to reinvent, a brand. Seiko themselves are trying to distance themselves from Seiko. Seiko has the Grand Seiko line, which now they're no longer even stamping them Seiko. They're just Grand Seiko. They said they don't want anything to do. Not they want anything to do, but they really want to make it a separate company. Are people going to forget? I have tremendous respect for every watch geek out there that says, you know what? It's an amazing watch. We both know it. At $4,000, it's better than half the things at $7,000 or $8,000, and I'm going to buy it because I'm confident enough in my decision and my logic to buy it. I respect the shit out of that, really. But to kind of diss or to kind of trivialize the values and the priorities of other consumers is ridiculous. At the end of the day, the market's the market, and just because you think that your watch is better, doesn't make you makes you right that it's a better watch, but it doesn't make your decision right universally. People have different values, man.
They do. I think it's all about consumerism and how you view a brand.
Yep.
Are you willing to take that leap of faith with that brand now that's taking you up another level?
Yeah.
Quite frankly, you're looking at, Grand Seiko or Seiko at $4,000.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, and I'm not a watch guy, but now, technically speaking, based on what you've just said, you can compete with Nomos.
Sure.
And yet you still feel you still feel better about Nomos
because they have a fresh start.
They have a fresh start because that's what they told us.
They carry no baggage.
That was their narrative from the beginning.
They carry no baggage.
They don't have their legacy narrative.
Yeah, they don't have the $110 quartz watches.
They don't.
Because that Seiko is synonymous with inexpensive quartz watches. That's really what most people think of when they hear Seiko. They don't think of an expensive watch.
Yeah,
by any means.
Look, we see that in the wine world too. You see a value wine company that delivers value at $10, $15. All of a sudden, they go up and they step up. I think, let's say, Ernest and Giulio Gallo, right? I mean, they were known for years as Jug Wine company. But
do they produce better stuff now?
Oh my God, they do. So can you take that leap? Now, granted, they're crafty. They buy other brands and through shell companies, etc.
Right.
They'll put out the Gallo name through different names, but it's still Gallo.
But would you go out on a first date, and put a bottle of Gallo on the table? I wouldn't either.
I wouldn't. No. Even if you put it in a beautiful black label with gold lettering, I'd have a hard time with that.
I don't know.
Even on a Friday night when I'm with my gumad, it would be hard.
It would be hard. Yeah, you're right. Let's talk about the wine a little bit. What are you thinking?
You know what?
You're right with the buttery and oil.
Yeah, I've never been a big fan of California Chardonnays. I gotta say though, for the money, I think this wine was $16-$17, right? You could probably find this wine for about $15.
If you're at a gas station, you may pay a little bit less.
You'll pay, right.
Right.
Yep. It is actually a pretty good wine. It's a well-made wine.
So talk to me about it, because I'm getting a lot of, I'm getting that butteriness,
yeah.
right? I'm getting that oiliness, but I'm also getting a bit of acidity, right, in the mouth.
Well, let's start with the scent. Okay, so you pick up a little bit of that vanilla, that oaky smell to it. That's classic of oak fermentation.
Okay.
And then you do get nice fruit in this wine. Make no mistake. I find good melon, like orange, but also you cannot move away from that vanilla, that oakiness, but it's not overpowering. We've had other wines, other California Chardonnays, specifically from Napa, that are just over the top. It's like eating bluefish. It's how oily
it is. Yeah.
So I think this is pretty well. This is a pretty decent example.
Okay.
And quite frankly, even at $17, to be able to get a California wine at that price point that delivers some good, it's not, and it's going to please a lot of people.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely it's not my wheelhouse.
Right.
It's not what I would probably gravitate towards drinking.
It's a lot of people's wheelhouse, though.
But right, exactly. It doesn't make it bad.
This will appeal to many, many, many of you, and for the price, and I bet you can find this wine for a lot less, at least like $14, $15. It's a pretty solid bottle of wine.
How about I challenge you?
Yeah.
Okay, so we know this at $17.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know of another maker or bottle of wine that produces, a comparably priced, better version of this kind of wine?
In America?
In America. That's not your real. I know it's. That's not where your Rolodex is. I know that.
Yeah. I mean, I probably would go to the big...
or not in America.
Like Columbia Crest. I mean, but actually, you could even go Mondavi. Mondavi could deliver some at that price point.
Okay.
I think they're far and few between.
Yeah.
I think it's harder to find that special bottle at that sub-20 price point.
Sure it is, yeah.
But you go right into Europe, or even actually South America.
And you get some
you get some killer stuff from Chile, from Argentina. Clearly, I'm a sucker for Spanish wines, but then I'm going to take you into some indigenous grapes, and I'll do the same in Italy.
And how about if you're willing to say, you know what, forget the 20, let me go up to 40. Do you know of any really good Chardonnays that are worth it?
Wow.
Again, it's not your thing.
Yeah, I mean, at 40, even at $40, I don't know if can you touch Kistler? I mean, I don't know can you touch Frog's Leap, Chateau Montelena? Even those guys, they're expensive.
They're even more expensive.
They're expensive. They're great wines. Peter Michael, you can't touch that for less than if you really want that true expression of Chardonnay.
Okay.
But I will say this, because I know I'm probably going to rip when this thing gets edited and put. There's a gap there. I don't drink a lot of American Chardonnay.
Right. No, I know
only
that.
because I love funky different wines.
Yeah.
You know me, and you know that I always seek. I'll seek the wines from Rueda, Spain.
Yeah.
I'll drink the Southern Italian whites.
Yeah.
From Naples.
Yeah.
And to me, they deliver a lot of value. It's just kind of
like
where I am.
It's kind of like me talking about Seiko.
Yeah.
I got a lot of shit for so long not talking about Seiko, not giving them any chance.
Yeah.
And I always recognized that I was aware that they produce some phenomenal watches, especially at phenomenal prices.
Yeah.
I know that. It's fine. But I avoided talking about them. Just kind of the same thing with you at American Chardonnays is I'm just not, it's not what my passion is.
Right.
And I think that what makes this channel so successful is that passion, is that ability to only choose things that you're going to talk really passionately about. And that's why I avoided Seiko for so long.
Yeah.
And now I'm actually figuring out my kind of feeling and my full opinion about it, but still it's that kind of uncharted territory, and it's uncharted for a reason. And I know that you're not an authority on California, on American Chardonnay, and I know you don't claim to be.
Right.
But it doesn't make us, any less able to crack open a bottle of wine and try it.
And appreciate it. I will say this, for Seiko, I love the fact that they're trying.
Yep.
I love the fact, look...
Even they're succeeding.
Yeah, and they're
producing
succeeding,
great
right.
stuff. Yeah.
So kudos to Seiko for actually trying to break into that market.
Yep.
And if they can put out a good product and earn the respect, the trust, and deliver the value...
It takes decades.
Then you know what? Then all, I'm all for it, man. If they can, give you good design, obviously good movement.
Well, I think, to bring it back to that Seiko conversation, I think that with every generation, if you can survive and you can be persistent as Seiko, that preconception about your brand starts to fade away.
Yeah.
You have much stronger opinions about Seiko being cheap than I do. right?
Yes, you're right.
And my son will have much, less baggage. The baggage is forgotten.
Right.
It's distanced. So I think that if Seiko continues and Seiko keeps it up and really just fights and produces phenomenal stuff and markets really well and gets attention, it ain't going to happen tomorrow.
Yeah. Right.
But maybe my son or my daughter is going to come to me one day and say, "Oh, I want a Seiko, Dad." Like, "Oh, it's so cool. Like, it's so nice." That's when I get my first job, I want a Seiko, and I'm going to be like, "What happened to Rolex?"
Can you believe that?
Of course, that's never going to happen because Rolex is Rolex. Right. But I don't know. I'm maybe we're being optimistic. Cheers to Seiko.
Cheers to Seiko.
Guys, I hope that you know that I really am starting to appreciate their brand, and just like my dad, maybe starting to appreciate.
I appreciate. I do.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah.
It's just not your thing.
It's just not my thing.
But that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching Liquor Run. Have an awesome Friday. Have an awesome weekend. Don't forget to watch tomorrow's live Ask TNH. And that's it. Ciao.
Ciao.